What will a man gain if he wins the whole world and ruins his life? What has a man to offer in exchange for his life? The words of Jesus that changed the entire life of Saint Francis Xavier. This is about asking yourself the ultimate questions of life. Ask yourself always the ultimate questions of life. How does this matter? Ultimately, it matters for the time being, but ultimately, does this matter? Saint Alphonsus Liguori says, the things we have in our life, the things we bother much about or worry about or cry about, those are really borrowed things. Not that word borrowed, not yours. You just borrowed for a temporary use. You need that for the time being, so you borrowed it. And at your funeral, you return them. So the things you carry, they are, you have borrowed them for the time being here on this earth. At your funeral, you leave them all behind for the owner to take it. So that's a real picture about life and the things we sometimes cry about, worry about. Of course, we need things like money and a house and food. Those things we need, but they are not ultimately important. Ultimately important. The Lord says in today's gospel something, the key to our own personal happiness and fulfillment. By human nature, we are not wired for self-denial. We need to be self-focused because it's something we need for our own survival. We have to look after ourselves. But happiness of life doesn't depend on our focus on ourselves. If you are too self-obsessed, self-focused, all about me, you are going to be miserable. Because if you are only concerned about yourself, okay, you have enough money, good house, you have everything, your life will be very boring. Because if life is all about possessions, you are going to find yourself empty and miserable, because happiness of life doesn't depend on those things. Even if you have millions in the bank, you can be miserable as hell. Or you can have millions in the bank, you have got a big mansion, and you have got one illness, you are in hell already, you are in misery already. What I mean to say with all these things are that some things are the things we normally worry about, cry about, bother about, they are not ultimately significant. Happiness of life depends on here, how much you take your focus away from yourself. How much you spend your life for others. How much you care for others. Always take your focus away from yourself towards the other. What can I do for somebody today? In what way can I enter somebody's life today? When you go to bed in the evening, your happiness depends on the answer to those questions. How was my life today? Did I enrich? Did I bless anybody today with what I did or said?